Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be talking about this heated conversation that's been going viral all over TikTok. So a lot of people are talking about the growing tension surrounding why the Asian community isn't showing visible support for protesting alongside Hispanics, especially with everything happening right now concerning deportations. So some are saying Asians simply don't want to put themselves in harm's way for the Hispanic community. As this one brother puts it on TikTok, and he did not hold back, he said the Asian community has played into the model minority myth ever since they set foot in the USA, according to him. So yeah, it's no surprise that you don't see Asians out there protesting or standing up for other groups, even though they've benefited greatly from the struggles and sacrifices Black Americans have fought for over the years. He's not the only one calling this out. Others are saying that it feels like the Asian community is totally absent from what is happening in America right now. But then out of nowhere, this Hispanic guy jumps into the mix, going in hard, not against the Asian, but against his own people. He defended Asians, saying they've got no reason to risk themselves for a problem that Hispanics brought on themselves. It's a lot to unpack, but don't worry, I've collected some of the most talked about TikTok clips on this so that you can have a look for yourselves. Make sure you leave your own thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm gonna come back at the end of this video to give my own 2 cents. Let's watch this.
When was the last time you went to a Chinese restaurant and saw Black people working there? When you go to a Chinese or Asian spot, any type of Asian spot, when you find the employees, when you look at the employees, if it's not 100% family staffed, what is the most likely race you'll find in there? Yes, it is Mexicans. You go to a Chinese restaurant right now, look in the back. If it's a family-owned restaurant that got big, you look in the back, all you'll see is Mexicans in there. You go anywhere you go that's Asian-owned, not just Chinese, Korean, anywhere you go, the demographic you'll find in there is Mexican. You won't find Black people. We're seen as thieves. We're lowlives. Our color stinks. We stink. You see it when we sit on the trains with them. They cover their noses. So my question to the Mexicans is, if the one community that has held you down constantly, the one that has constantly given you work, the one that you have built a relationship with, if it's the Asians, why have you never called out the Asians to come help you? Why are you constantly calling us? Please, can you answer that in the comments? Thank you.
I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody, but it's like I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country.
Oh, damn.
We support, the betterment of the country.
Okay.
We support that. So what is there to say? What is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals.
Okay.
It is honestly tiring, because here's the thing. We want the country to be better. We want the country to be better. We want the country to, if you did it legally, if you stand in line, if you paid the price, right? You paid the money and all that. You did all the process, the paperwork, all the stuff, which usually most Asian people do. Why would we care about someone jumping in line, crossing the border, and all this stuff? Why should we, be happy about that? We're not really. This is the thing where we're not really dependent. Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor.
What?
Right? Not like other people. We're not really dependent on migrant labor. So we're not going to cry that the U.S. is pretty much backing what they promised. The U.S. promised, or this presidency promised, that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying?
Oh.
Why are you crying about it? This is the thing where,
Mexicans,
you see it like
these are your people. These are the ones you've allied
other
with.
Countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that?
Oh.
No, they want to stay away from that.
Oh.
They don't want to be grouped in with these people.
Oh.
That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community.
Hey.
And their country.
Oh.
They don't want to be grouped in with these people.
Oh,
so really,
these people.
Stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it, because you won't like what they say. You won't like what they say. So really, it's better off that they do the content that they're doing instead of, say things you don't like. Because here's the thing. Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking.
Oh.
Deport illegal immigrants.
So that's why y'all been saying, where are the black people? Where's Kendrick Lamar? Where's YG? Where's this? Where's that? They're the ones that you've allied with this whole time. And they told you to your face, we support. Get the fuck out of here. So that's why you haven't been calling on them. Okay. We get it. Also, Asians, I hope y'all stand 10 toes down because you know they're coming for you. You know it. Maybe Chinese can get away. Maybe. Japanese, maybe. But the rest of you, Vietnamese, what? You thought you're the what's it called? Laotians, Vietnamese, all of these Asian countries. You think, okay. I'm going to look forward to when they come for you guys.
I'm going to get some stuff off my chest, so excuse me, but I think that the argument, I think immigrants should stay in the US because they do the jobs that I don't want to do, is really weird and very Kelly Osbourne of you, and I think that rhetoric kind of needs to stop because these are people's lives we're dealing with. This is a father, a mother, somebody's baby, and they're being handled in the most inhumane and cruel way possible. It has nothing to do with you. You care about them because you're a good person. I also, again, you should be caring about this because it's hurting people and you are a good person that does not want to see people get hurt. But I also believe that if you're a content creator or if you're an influencer that looks like me, resembles me in some way, and you're not speaking about what's happening right now, I think you're weird and I think you're a loser, and I'm sorry to say that, but you know what's happening here. It's happened since the minute our ancestors stepped foot in America. The model minority does not exist in a country that thrives on fear-mongering and racism. Because the minute everyone's gone, then who's left? Us? I sincerely doubt it. As close in proximity as you want us to be to whiteness, we will never be. We'll never be one of them. Again, you should care about this because you're a good person and you don't want to see other people get hurt. But who's to say it's not us? Who's to say we're not next? Who's to say it's not our grandparents, our parents that can't speak the language, that can't defend themselves, that weren't taught to defend themselves or be loud? Who's to say that they're not next? I will never understand Asian Americans that do not stand in solidarity with other minorities and other affected groups in this country, because how do you differentiate? How do you tell somebody, I voted for Trump, or I voted conservatively, or I believe what you believe, when you're being zip-tied and thrown in the back of a truck? You can't. So, bluntly put, stand in solidarity. You don't have another choice. We don't have another choice. This is it.
I don't have a huge following, but I still feel a responsibility to say something. I lived in LA for 4 years now, and what's happening with the ICE raids, the fear, the silence, especially from those within the Asian American community, has been really weighing heavily on my heart. I grew up in Queens, New York, around large Latino and Hispanic communities, and I've witnessed firsthand how deeply connected our communities are. A lot of Asian-owned businesses often rely on the labor of undocumented workers, often quietly, without any acknowledgement. Now, when the same people are being targeted, the silence is loud. It's painful. We come from immigrant families. We know what fear looks like, and we know what sacrifice looks like. And yet so many of us turn a blind eye when others are being targeted for the very reasons we're here. To those who are affected, I don't know what to say. I am truly sorry. You deserve to feel safe and you deserve to be seen. And to influencers, this moment calls for more than just posts about hidden gems in LA and food spots. If we love the city and its people, we need to show up for them too. If you have the privilege to post about where to shop in LA, then you have the power to say this isn't right. That is not political, that is just being human. I am not trying to call people out just to create noise. I am saying this because I care. This isn't about blame, it's about showing up. Speaking up doesn't require a perfect statement. It's honestly just about heart and showing compassion. And if you have a platform, even a small one like mine, it does matter. Be the voice for those who can't. Okay, bye.
I've been hearing about other minorities asking Black people to show up and protest against ICE. Ask the Asians instead. Our shit's already being rocked. The working class ones are going to be targeted by ICE just like the Latino community. Hell, a bunch of us are already being deported and often to the wrong country. And then as for the richer ones, Trump has already banned all Chinese students from coming to the US to study. and has banned all international students from coming to Harvard, which affects a whole lot of Asian international students. So anybody who looks Chinese, even if they're a US citizen, is going to be affected by this. He's put several South Asian countries on the travel ban list. So yeah, brown Asians are going to be affected too. Anyway, our voting numbers look very similar to Latinos. Just over half of us voted for Kamala and the rest went for Trump. We couldn't just fucking listen to black people when they told us to vote for the black lady who wasn't going to take all our civil rights away. And now we want them to come save our asses when they're getting whooped? Also, have you maybe considered that the feds want black people to show up to the protests? Because then they have an excuse to escalate the violence. Then they have an excuse to call them riots. We saw what happened with the peaceful protests in 2020 after George Floyd was killed by a policeman. Also, if you've been paying any attention at all, black people have been showing up to support Latinos who are potentially being deported. Look at all the videos from Compton. Just type Compton in your search bar. So why don't we do this? Why don't we let black people make their own decisions? Stop expecting them to be your personal avengers. Mobilize the Asians. I know that if I'm in front of a cop at a protest, he's going to think twice about doing anything to me. He's not going to give me the same grace as a white person, but he's definitely going to give me more than he gives a black person. And if you can't go to a protest, just fucking say something, especially if you live in California. Asians, I know there's a lot of you over there. I was born in the Bay Area, so I feel like I should say something. Anyway, yeah, mobilize the Asians. Stay safe out there.
I seen someone ask this question and it got me to thinking, you're right. Why haven't the Latin community called on the Asians that's in California to go out and march and help? Why is the call of action only to black people? I just really want to know. Because they call themselves the model minority. So they supposed to be smarter, more educated. This is all per them. Why haven't y'all called on the Asians? Why do they get to sit back and chill? We already know they out to pew us. Let me know. Get down in the comments because I want to know. That's an interesting question.
Just a friendly reminder to my fellow East Asians who have either no following or a very, very large following on TikTok and Instagram. If you don't feel comfortable standing up for what is right or showing where you stand, please question yourself why that is. Sometimes I do struggle to connect with my fellow Asians because when it comes down to the most important moments, like this past weekend, like Black Lives Matter and other social justice movements that impact human rights on a base level, I notice that they tend to disappear or run away from the topic or sheepishly or maybe proudly even say how they never vote in any single fucking election. And guess what? It doesn't go unnoticed, the apathy that you have for others. In fact, this is exactly why we are exactly where we are right now in the United States. Thanks, apathy. How are you going to want community when you don't even give back or care about other people other than your crew or other than what is right in front of you? The propaganda machine, if it numbed you to this level, that means it worked on you. Despite the just annoyance and anger I feel towards my community sometimes for this, it is not too late though to speak up and stand up for what you think is right. And some of you want to be parents and have kids in the next couple of years. Is this the world that you really want your children to grow up in?
To all the Asian Americans that are staying silent about what's happening in LA, you think you're safe because you're not Hispanic? Think again, because who do you think they'll come after next? Just remember, you're not white. Those maggots, they don't want you here either.
Why are black people saying this is not our fight making you upset? I've seen video after video from Latino creators or Latino people coming online pleading to black people to put our bodies at the forefront of this fight against illegal ICE raids, against deportation, against roundups, against undocumented people being rounded up and families being disjointed. But there's several reasons as to why you should not be shocked that black people are sitting this one out. You guys all remember that this is a subset of your community last year.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
you're also aware that across the board, overwhelmingly black people voted in favor of the candidate that had black interests, Latino interests, Asian interests at heart. Where if you look at the sentiments of what that vote represents, half of your community voted for this. Half of your community said F you to black people. Half of your community said, we don't care about you. Half of your community said you wanted to be white aligning and white adjacent. And now you're being reminded of the fact that you're not. We have to have the ability to hold multiple truths when we speak to each other as communities. The truth is that Latinos are not in a monolith. It's just an all-encompassing umbrella that they put you under. And that, yes, majority of the people that voted for Donald Trump and were doing that were Cuban and were other people in different parts of the country, and undocumented people in Mexico in California are being impacted by that. That is true. But what's also true is that there is a history of black people fighting and being at the forefront of civil rights in this country since the inception of civil rights in this country. And it's always been pushback and non-solidarity from multiple communities who are voting and always going against black people. So this particular time when black women especially really came out in droves and really fought forward with our votes, and you guys didn't do it, your community didn't do it. It's like, why would I fight now? Why would I fight now? So I just need you, like, if you're gonna come online and make pleas and ploys to black people, because I've seen so many videos, start by acknowledging the fact that your community has colorism, anti-blackness, and voted against your own best self-interest. Start with that. Don't come in here and ask black people just to put our bodies at the forefront of the line, because we've been doing that for a century. Secondly, I think the majority of black people who are saying that they're sitting this one out are using their voice in other ways or having solidarity with you in other ways, but they're not going to protest. They're not going to go get hit by rubber bullets. They're not going to put themselves in harm's way or make that effort again, because you guys, it's time for you to fight for yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you. Now, there's also a bunch of black people online who are asking black people to come out and fight for everyone, and everyone needs to fight, and this is our fight as well. While I do agree with a lot of those sentiments, because if they're doing it to brown citizens, they can do it to black citizens, and they can use the Congo and Haiti as an excuse to just racially profile all of us. That's very true. But you have to stop telling black people to put themselves on the line when black people are exhausted. Black people are exhausted. Black people have done so much for all communities in this country. At a certain point, there has to be a time where they need to rest. And right now, a bunch of people are resting, and that's fine. But there will always be people in our community who fight. Like, I'm using my voice every fucking day on this app. I've made an update about every single thing going on with ICE raids, locations, where they are, what's happening with Trump. I do it every day on my social page, and it's exhausting. Like, I'm actually exhausted. Today, I put up like 10 posts. I'm exhausted, but I'm doing it because I know my voice has reach, and I know that people need to hear it. And that's my personal choice. I'm not doing it because I feel obligated. So stop trying to make people feel obligated to put themselves on the line again. I say that to say there's a lot of fucked up shit happening in this country. I know that people and families, I was in tears last night seeing people self-deport themselves and people getting rounded up, grandfathers and grandmothers and abuelitas getting taken away, who are the people who are the fabric of this city in LA. But I just know that it doesn't end here, and there are black people on that list. There are black countries on that list. There are black countries on that list, and I'll say that to you again. There are black countries on that list.
So there you have it. So as you can see from all these clips we've just watched, a lot is being said right now across TikTok, YouTube, and just about every social media platform when it comes to this conversation about who's showing up and who's not, specifically when it comes to the current deportation issues impacting the Hispanic community. Interestingly, I've noticed this conversation flipping on its head in some spaces. A number of black folks, rightfully so, have been raising a very important question. Why are Hispanic communities expecting black Americans to come out in large numbers to put themselves in front of the line in harm's way, when historically that same energy has not always been reciprocated? I mean, let's keep it real. Many black people asking a valid question. When have Hispanics come out in mass numbers to stand with black folks? Because the truth is, in most in most of black folks' crucial fights, in matters of political brutality, in economic injustice, in voting rights, the overwhelmingly majority of support has come from within the black community itself. Rarely do we see other minority groups willing to risk themselves or disrupt their comfort to stand with black Americans unless it directly benefits them too. And I'm not just saying that to be harsh. That's simply the pattern that we've seen time and time again. Now, to be clear, I'm not speaking for the entire Asian community, and I want to make that known. But I've noticed, especially in these past few days, that there are some Asian voices starting to speak out on behalf of the Hispanic community regarding these deportation issues. As you saw in some of the clips earlier in this video, a few Asian creators on TikTok and other platforms are addressing the situation, calling out injustice and expressing empathy for what the Hispanic community is facing right now. And that's good to see. Honestly, that's a start. But if I'm being honest completely with you, and you know this channel is about honesty, we talk honesty, we comment honesty, I think they can do better, much better, because while it's nice to see a few individuals here and there speaking up, we've yet to see a large-scale organized Asian American solidarity movements or visible collective action in the way Black Americans have historically shown up for other communities. But here's the thing that some people on TikTok and elsewhere seem to misunderstand. When they accuse Black people of not showing up for Hispanics, it's not that Black folks are heartless or indifferent to what's happening. No. It's not about lacking compassion or turning a blind eye to another minority group suffering. The problem is deeper. The real issue is that Black Americans know better than anyone, that when they get involved in these kind of struggles, the cost is always higher for them. The risk is greater. The consequences are heavier. Let's not sugarcoat things. Historically, history has shown that when Black folks take to the streets, when they protest, when they raise their voices, the backlash they face from the system is brutal. Police repression, violence, media demonization, mass arrests, lives destroyed, families broken apart. They pay a price that no other minority group seems to bear to the same degree. And for what? So that later on, when it's their turn to need support, those same communities, they go quiet, go missing, or side with the very system that oppressed them. That's not bitterness talking, that's historical fact. And I don't want to sound cold or like I lack sympathy for what the Hispanic community is going through. Trust me, I get it. Nobody wants to see families separated. Nobody wants to see people deported or living in fear. It's heartbreaking. But at some point, we've got to be real about this cycle. You see, the hard truth is Black people have always put their lives on the line, not just for themselves, but for the benefit of all marginalized groups in the U.S. The civil rights movement, Black-led, and every single minority group, including Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, everybody has reaped the benefit of those hard-won battles. Okay, Black folks fought for voting rights, housing rights, workplace protections, immigration reforms, the list goes on. But when it's Black folks who are being unalived in the street or locked up disproportionately or economically gutted, where is that same energy from everybody else? It really comes. And that's why so many Black people feel cautious or even straight up unwilling to jump headfirst into every new crisis that isn't their own, because history has taught them that when the dust settles, they'll be left alone holding the bag once again. Yeah. Had more communities, including the Hispanic community itself, listened to Black voices sooner, especially those warning about state violence, about unchecked police power, about systemic injustice, maybe they wouldn't be facing this nightmare right now. Maybe these deportation raids wouldn't feel so sudden, so shocking, because Black folks have been warning about this creeping state control for decades. So no, I don't think it's heartlessness. They're using wisdom. It's caution. It's the painful knowledge of how this system works and who it crashes first when the tides turn. That's just my perspective. That's my opinion. and you're welcome to agree or disagree. But as always, on this channel, yeah, these types of conversations they need to be heard openly, honestly, and without fear of who might get uncomfortable. Yeah, but I would love to hear what you think about this. Please go ahead, drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you believe other minority communities like Asians or Hispanics have done enough to support Black Americans in their struggles? Do you think Black folks should once again put themselves on the front lines to support these immigration protests, or is it time for others to carry their own weight? Let's talk about this in the comment section down below. And yeah, as usual, I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please stay peaceful.